Tucked away in the mountains between Spain and France, there's a language that's, well, a complete and utter mystery. It's called Basque, or Euskera, and it's basically a linguistic island. It's surrounded by a huge sea of languages we call Indo-European, but it has no known family, no relatives at all. So today, let's grab our detective hats and dive into this ancient puzzle.
You see, the real question isn't just if Basque is related to other languages. It's how on earth could it have survived all by itself for thousands and thousands of years? It's a true linguistic cold case, and we're going to look at the clues, the evidence, and the two major theories that are trying to crack it wide open.
And to really get just how different Basque is, you don't have to look much further than the most basic words. I mean, look at Spanish and English. You can see the family resemblance, right? Uno, one. Lengua, tongue. Makes sense. But then you look at Basque. Bat, bi, hiru, mihi. It's like, it's not even playing the same game. It's from a whole different world.
And that deep, profound strangeness, oh, it goes way beyond just a few weird words. We're talking about the very skeleton of the language. Its grammar, which is built on a completely different blueprint from every single one of its neighbors.
Okay, here's the big one. What really sets Basque apart is something called an ergative absolutive system. Now, don't worry about the jargon. All you need to know is that literally every other language in Europe is what we call nominative accusative. Basque is the lone wolf, the only exception. It just treats the subjects of sentences in a fundamentally different way.
Let's break that down, because it's kind of mind-bending. In English, she is always the subject. She runs. She sees the dog. Simple enough, right? But in Basque, the she who runs is treated grammatically in the same way as the dog who is seen. It's a twist that makes Basque completely unique on the entire continent. It's wild.
So as you can imagine, this incredible uniqueness has fueled a debate that's been raging for over a century. Is Basque a true linguistic orphan, a total isolate with no family to speak of, or is its family just hiding, separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years of history?
For a really long time, the standard answer, the one championed by big-name linguists like R.L. Trask, was total isolation. The idea was that Basque is this ancient relic, a survivor from a time before the languages we know today swept across Europe. Its family, if it ever had one, was just lost to the mists of time. End of story.
But then you have the other side. You have respected scholars like René Lafon who looked at the very same evidence and came to a completely opposite and incredibly confident conclusion. They were certain they had found Basque's long-lost relatives. And right there, that's the central conflict of our entire mystery.
So let's explore that first major theory. It's called the Euskero-Caucasian hypothesis, and it's this incredibly bold idea that tries to connect Basque to a family of languages from a rugged mountainous region very, very far away.
So, this theory argues that the ancestors of the Basque people weren't originally from Western Europe at all. Nope, it suggests they were Neolithic farmers who migrated all the way from the Caucasus region about 8,000 years ago, and they brought their language with them. I mean, think about that. It connects this little pocket in the Pyrenees to the mountains between the Black and Caspian Seas. It's a huge claim.
So, how in the world do you even begin to prove something like that? Well, linguists turn into detectives. Check this out. The Basque word for fire is su. Okay, in North Caucasian, a word for fire is tsu. Pretty similar, right? But that could be a coincidence. The real smoking gun, though, is the Basque word for flint, sutiari. See that little T stuck in the middle? That's a grammatical fossil, an ancient connector that just so happens to also be found in North Caucasian languages. It's like finding a shared fingerprint across millennia.
Okay, but hold on. There's another story, a completely different one, that pushes the origins of Basque not just back a few thousand years, but deep, deep into the Stone Age. And this theory, it doesn't rely on finding linguistic cousins. It relies on genetics and anthropology.
In this version of the story, Basque isn't an immigrant language at all. It's the original. The theory goes that a very, very early form of Basque was spoken by the first modern humans to even settle in Europe, the Cro-Magnon people, over 30,000 years ago. It didn't arrive from somewhere else, it was just already there.
And the journey this theory lays out is just incredible. It suggests that proto-Basque got its start way back in the Paleolithic era. It picked up influences from other hunter-gatherers, it survived the arrival of the first farmers, and later, the big migrations of the Yamnaya people from the steppes. And then, and this is the crucial part, during the Bronze Age, the Basque people became genetically isolated.
They essentially became a time capsule, preserving this ancient language while all the languages around them were being replaced.
So what we're left with are these two powerful competing stories. And they're not just about one language. They're about the entire prehistory of Europe itself. Let's put them side by side.
You've got the Neolithic arrival theory. It's based on that linguistic detective work, and it places Basque's arrival with farmers from the Caucasus around 8,000 years ago. Then you have the Paleolithic indigenous theory. This one is based on genetics and anthropology, and it argues Basque has been in Europe for over 30,000 years, a direct link to the continent's very first people. Two totally different methods, leading to two radically different conclusions.
At this point, you might be wondering, okay, this is pretty cool, but why all this fuss over one language spoken by less than 1 million people? Well, it's because the answer to the Basque enigma could help us answer some of the biggest questions we have about our own history.
You know, figuring out the Basque mystery is about so much more than just one language. It's like opening a living window into Europe's deep past. It helps us trace the epic migrations of our ancient ancestors. It helps us understand the agricultural revolution that literally changed everything for humanity. And ultimately, the answer helps to find the real story of who the first Europeans truly were.
And that leaves us right here, with this one final massive question. When we hear the Basque language spoken today, are we just hearing the distant echo of Neolithic farmers who trekked across an entire continent? Or are we hearing the actual living voice of the Ice Age hunters who first called Europe home? For now, the mystery remains.